Hi, viewers of Equinoxe Television. Thank you so much for being with us on this other edition of the news in the English language tonight. Our magistrates this evening matricide in Gandere. A 27-year-old young man kills his own mother in cold blood at Balaji in the Adamawa. The victim reportedly caught his son red-handed alongside other accomplices in their attempt to steal household valuables from their own family residence or house. In the dark, the thief stabbed his own mother 38 times and finally beheaded the victim, left her in a pool of blood, and fled. We take you to Gandere with details of this other gruesome murder of a mother by her son in this news edition. And over to Morocco, we will be meeting Smart Gabriel, who is a special envoy. He tells us that most of the delegations arrived to Morocco in spectacular African attires, showcasing and branding the beautiful and rich African culture and customs. Those are our lead stories tonight, viewers. Welcome back, viewers. We begin with these very sad elements which just came in from Gandere. Matricide in that part of the country as a 27-year-old boy or man kills his own mother in cold blood at Balaji. The victim reportedly caught his son red-handed alongside other accomplices as they attempted to steal household valuables like TV sets from their own family house. In the dark, the thief stabbed his own mother 38 times and finally beheaded the victim, left her in a pool of blood to die. Our reporter Sedu Chakuso tells us more.
Woman lost her life, killed by her own son on Friday night. This tragic incident plunged the Balaji 2 neighborhood in Gandere into shock and dismay.
Sous l'emprise de la drogue, a brutalement mis fin au jour de sa maman. C'est grâce à son addiction.
Investigators determined that the tragedy occurred when the suspect, 27-year-old Abdul, attempted to leave the family's home before being surprised by his mother, who he tragically stabbed 38 times.
Excessif de la drogue.
During the reconstruction of the events held in the presence of the public prosecutor at the Gandere court, officers from the Gandere Criminal Investigation Unit conducted an intensive manhunt. Under the coordination of the Gendarmerie Company commander and the head of the research brigade. For the departmental youth delegate of Gandere,
le milieu incarcéral n'est pas une réponse aux déviances. Lorsqu'il y a crime, on pense que lorsque quelqu'un part en prison, non, il devient général pour former les plus jeunes là-bas.
Incarceration cannot be an effective long-term solution.
Réduire les complications mentales que la jeunesse a aujourd'hui. Comment amener les jeunes à tourner le dos à la drogue?
At this stage of the proceedings, 3 people are already in custody. The main suspect, an alleged accomplice, and the receiver of stolen goods.
Sad indeed. Lack of employment opportunities and poor salaries are the major issues faced by medical doctors in Cameroon, causing hundreds of young trained medical practitioners to exercise or practice abroad or overseas. These were revealed by the president of the Cameroon Medical Council, Dr. Fonkwa Rudolph, during the launching of the General Assembly of the Cameroon Medical Council here in Douala. Our reporter Innocent Aze was there. He tells us that it was presided over by the representative of the governor of the Littoral region.
The Cameroon Medical Council, CMC, itself is sick if no urgent action is taken. Cameroon risks being a nation without professional medical doctors in the future.
J'ai peur que dans quelques années, il y ait un grand hiatus, c'est-à-dire un vide médical dans le pays.
A shocking revelation made by the president of the Cameroon Medical Council, Dr. Fonkwa Rudolph, during the launching of the General Assembly of the CMC in Douala. Most young and trained medical doctors do not wish practicing in Cameroon because of miserable salary and limited employment opportunities.
Le pays manque de médecins. Le ratio recommandé par l'OMS est de 2,5 médecins pour 1000 habitants. Au Cameroun, nous sommes à 0,6 à 0,7 médecins pour 1000 habitants. je constate que mes médecins sont mal payés.
Cameroon, he says, is known as a country in the entire Central African sub-region that pays skillful medical doctors with peanut salaries.
Nous sommes le pays qui payons le moins bien leurs médecins dans toute la sous-région Afrique centrale.
Dr. Fonkwa Rudolph estimates that about 800 young skillful medical doctors travel abroad annually to exercise for better pay.
C'est surtout la population jeune, parce que depuis 5 ans,
since the past 5 years, the state stopped recruiting, thus opening the vast immigration window to retain these trained medical doctors. The state, being the highest employer, needs to create employment and pay medical doctors well.
Il faut créer des emplois.
In the aspects of protecting the image, dignity and integrity of the Cameroon Medical Council, the CMC must remain allergic to unprofessional practices and sanction those who nurse and promote them.
Le thème de la journée est un thème très préoccupant, le chômage des jeunes médecins. Je crois que c'est un problème très très important qu'il faudrait que la nation aborde avec froideur et apporte des solutions urgentes. Je dis bien urgentes parce que notre jeunesse est en train de partir.
Representative of the littoral governor who presided over the event assured these preoccupations tabled by the CMC would be channeled to the hierarchy.
We do reassure them that all those preoccupations will be forward to the hierarchy, and we do hope that everything will be said for the good well-being of medical doctor in Cameroon.
While expecting positive feedback, the CMC pledged to keep working for more realizations and provide quality healthcare services to the population void of distractions. It was also an occasion for the Cameroon Medical Council to pay homage to colleagues who died in 2025.
And at the end of that come together, some medical doctors who have practiced for 4 decades and even more were awarded medals of recognition for their patience and sacrifices to improve upon the health of the local population. Some expressed delight and call on future medical doctors to always give in their best and be patient with their patients.
What I've done for more than since 1972. I don't regret it. Just being a servant to the people for their health, for the well-being, is enough for me. A rainbow star. And this has provoked a lot of medical doctors in the family. But I persevere. Of today, this is the summum. This is the extreme manifestation of it. And I say thank you to the Lord. First, who did permitted all this.
Si on a fait plus de 50 ans d'exercice, c'est parce que, d'une part, on se trouvait dans la capacité de continuer à exercer, et d'autre part, parce que les malades ont continué à nous solliciter.
And now let's move over to Morocco to meet our special envoy, Smart Gabriel. Smart, you tell us that the African culture has been displayed by the different participating teams at the Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. While some teams go for their traditional attires, others decided to go with the climate of Morocco, which is somehow really cold. In the report which comes up next, you tell us that some countries have already stolen the show as they touched down at the different airports in Morocco.
As it has always been the case in the previous Africa Cup of Nations, the case of Morocco wasn't different, as the participating nations came with their different traditional outfits. The players of the Eagles of Mali touched down in Casablanca dressed head to toe in white traditional Bogolan, often referred to as kaftan, layered with woven overcoat and matching hats. Zimbabwe stepped off the plane in tailored suits, each piece elevated by delicate embroidery of the Zimbabwe bird on the shoulder, a subtle tribute to the national symbol that anchors the country's emblem. Comoros were dressed in shirt twaps, the traditional long ankle-length robes worn by men across the Indian Ocean archipelago. The most capped nation in the history of AFCON, the Pharaohs of Egypt, opted for a low-key arrival, stepping off the plane in crisp Puma tracksuits that perhaps emphasized the seriousness of the task at hand. The Super Eagles of Nigeria stepped out of their plane in a coordinate traditional outfit, flowing Agbada-inspired designs to neatly tailored kaftans and matching caps, richly embroidered with the green patterns that echoed the national colors, which was a vibrant showcase of African heritage. Senegal followed with a strikingly simple but powerful look, dressed predominantly in elegant white attire. The clean, confident style reflected discipline and unity from the tournament favorites. Meanwhile, the third-place team in the last AFCON, South Africa, opted to be simple in their dressing. The Bafana came to Morocco dressed in black tracksuits of Coq Sportif.
Beautiful and elegant. Meantime, the revenues generated from the ticketing for the AFCON in Morocco has already surpassed the $11 billion that the Confederation of African Football CAF recorded in the AFCON hosted by Cote d'Ivoire. The declarations were made by CAF scribe Veron Musengo Omba during a press conference in which he said the amount already available in Morocco just for ticketing is still adding up. To the Secretary General of CAF, the AFCON in Morocco will be the best ever organized in Africa.
In some few hours from now, hostilities will resume on the pitch as 24 teams will go in search for one trophy. The Africa Cup of Nations will start in Morocco. Ahead of the kickoff of the AFCON, officials of the Confederation of African Football have been busy evaluating how far the preparations have gone as to the kickoff. During a press briefing, the Secretary General of CAF says the AFCON in Morocco has gone into the history books as one of the record-breaking AFCON they have ever organized.
Aujourd'hui, on a vendu plus de 1 million de billets déjà.
We have already sold up to 1 billion tickets. This AFCON will be shown in all of the countries within the continent, and 30 European nations will broadcast the AFCON too, which is a record because it is the first time such is happening. In terms of accreditations, we have accredited 5,500 journalists. It is the first time too, while 3,800 TV channels and platforms have broadcast rights of the tournament.
3,800 accrédités déjà.
For the Secretary General,
ça sera la CAN des records.
I weigh my words, and I'm very certain with the record we have at hand, this AFCON will be the best to have ever been organized in modern times.
Je pèse bien mes mots sur tous les points.
The AFCON will officially start on December 21, 2025, with host nation Morocco to challenge Comoros, who are in their third AFCON.
Thanks, Matt, for that update. And that brings us to the end of the first part of the news. Let's move on to Talking Point. Welcome back, viewers. Our guest tonight is ELVIS TAYONG. He is a civil society actor. Thank you, ELVIS, for your time, and you are talking to us from Bamenda. Now let's talk national development, Mr. Fa. According to the National Development Strategic Plan for 2030, the development rate in Cameroon, which was aimed at 5% every year or annually, has instead regressed by 3%. Looking at the state of the nation, what can be some of the possible reasons for such gross underdevelopment in almost every domain in Cameroon, especially recently?
It is true that 5% development rate per year was envisaged by 2030, but then dropping to 3% per year tells you that several factors are into play. I must let you know that some of those factors that bring down the development rate of 3% per year has to do with poor governance. I would let you know that the issue of governance is a problem here in Cameroon because the absence of accountability is at its peak. Now, people have offices that they man, and they are not even scared of whether Operation Sparrowhawk or Operation Clean the Nation or whatever. No, they still act with impunity. You have persons who hold government positions and they live in affluence, and you know that these persons themselves, take a look at like mayors, for example. How do you expect that mayors will be at the center of development? Somebody who was a classroom teacher, somebody who did not go to school, taking advantage of the precarious conditions around the corner, and he becomes mayor. What do you expect? To him, he never dreamt of being there. And so, most of the times, they would embezzle the money, they would go up and down, they know how to bribe those who are supposed to check on them. So at the end of it, we will have every reason to drop. In fact, the 3% we're recording, let me tell you, it will even drop less than that. Because poor governance is at its peak. How do you explain that people hold public offices for several years? You cannot be a minister 10, 15, 20, 25 years when there are other vibrant and new energetic Cameroonians who are even more qualified, who if put in those places, they will make a change. So at the end of it, I'll tell you, if things do not evolve, the fact that we have a kangaroo government in place and the fact that we have the same redundant system, it tells you that, I will tell you as we're moving on, it will drop the development rate, which was individual and was giving 5% per year, dropping to 3% per year, will soon drop to less than 1% per year. It is a serious matter. That the powers that be, they don't check on the corruption. The people who are overdue in offices, public offices, then it becomes a problem. And the change of the mindset with stringent laws to put in place to act as a check and balance on those who man these positions that are supposed to bring about development. If these aspects are absent, we will drop, as I've said earlier, with less than 1% per year for our development rate.
Let's now move on to a sub-theme, Mr. Farr. There has been this recent rumor of Cameroon's membership in the African Union being threatened. We got information that Cameroon could not fulfill its financial obligations or contributions. The Minister of Finance and that of External Relations recently reacted officially and said they were all rumors. Now, what according to you does a country or the common man in Cameroon benefits from the AU membership? And how can such rumors or such pieces of information play down on the image of the state?
The rumors, I will tell you, we also got the rumors. And whether it is true or not, that Cameroon is unable to pay its financial contributions in that union, the main thing is that what is the impact of it to the common man? To Cameroonians, if that is true, even though the government is not acknowledging that, it would be a shame on Cameroon that they are unable to play their own role in terms of financial contributions. And the question many people ask will be, has it gotten to the level that we are unable to pay our own contributions for membership up to at the level that we are threatened to be expelled? You know, it has an impact negatively on the image of the country at the international scene. But on the other hand, the common man on the street will have nothing to worry about if at the end Cameroon is expelled or the membership is threatened, for the simple reason that many people ask, what is this union doing to the common man? That's the question. What is the union doing to the common man? For the past months we have been contributing, what has the union done? With all the corruption, with all the bad governance, has the union ever come any day to say, hey, this thing is wrong here, correct it, this thing is wrong here? So in a nutshell, those things will not really matter to us in real terms if we want to go the other way around. Because so long as things are taking the jigsaw puzzle direction in the country, and all the so-called organizations, blah, 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 African Union, European Union, they'll all keep quiet. You will rig election and they will say, no, elections were free and fair. But poor governance. Imagine Cameroon having the oldest president in the world, and these unions, none of them can barely come as advisors to say, even though is an autonomous or independent country, but we can advise that, please, is there a way that you can change leadership so we get something vibrant in the economy? They stay mute. It means they all are accomplices to where we find ourselves. So in real sense, whether the rumor is true or not, this has no direct impact on the importance of Cameroonians, because at the end of it, nothing is changing. Whether membership is maintained, we are still poor, we don't have light, we don't have roads. Whether membership is upgraded, we still remain the same people with the same misery day in, day out. It is sad, it is a sacrilege that Cameroon in miniature, that has all it takes to live well, are living in abject poverty, living below 500 francs, per person averagely, and we still find it very okay to even be talking even about membership with those unions. All of that is bullshit. I must tell you, all of that is real bullshit. It's of no importance to us, some of us who look at it at the political perspective, that if these organizations cannot do us any good, then the membership is null and void. Thank you.
You just mentioned a while ago, Mr. Fa, there has been acute water shortage in most neighborhoods here in the economic capital, Douala, for over 1 week. Now let's talk the Anglophone crisis. For ELVIS, Sisiku Ayoktabe and other prisoners were to be held in court one more time in Yaoundé. It has been several years these people are in detention accused of terrorism linked to the Anglophone crisis. With all what has been happening lately and the crisis worsening instead, don't you think it will be beneficial to all and sundry if these people are granted amnesty?
I think that the issue of amnesty is even long overdue because you've got series of adjournments that has quite been very disturbing. And I think that we're in a judicial system that when you get issues being adjourned like that, it defeats the purpose of what we call the justice system. I would prefer, if it were in my point of view, I would think that Ayuk, Tabe Seseko and co. should have been granted amnesty so that it could fall in line with the peace deals. Even though many have failed, they could give another impetus and another leeway for another form of peace to be sorted out. And so by so doing, it will go a long way, to be honest with you, because even if they no longer have real control on the ground, but just that alone can send a signal to the international community that Cameroon justice system is actually on a good footing, and at the same time, it could go a long way to calm down the tension from those who are angry in one way or the other. So to me, I think it's appropriate, because getting the cases adjourned every day looks like it's a child's play. It doesn't give that credibility to the justice system as per se. Because if you ask, what is the cause? What is the problem that each time they go on, the cases are adjourned? Each time they are on, the cases are adjourned. We've had series of adjournments, and the adjournments keep coming in, day out. So I don't think sincerely, I don't think it's of any importance as of now.
Thank you so much for ELVIS TAYONG for accepting to be our guest on the news tonight, and a blessed weekend to you guys over there in Bamenda. And viewers, that was what we put together for you this evening on the news in the English language. Thank you so much for always being with us. As usual, our programs continue tonight. Equinoxe will be yours in about 30 minutes or so with Sagaleng, and the news in the French language with Irish Ngono Mala comes up at 8 p.m. Enjoy the rest of your weekend in the company of programs on Equinoxe Television. Bye-bye for now.